Hello, everybody, and welcome to the comic book burrito Into the Spider-Verse. My name's Darian.
My name's Landon.
And today, we come at you from the safety of our homes. We are finally done traveling the multiverse. After last week's problem that we almost caused, I decided to stand halfway in between one universe and another. It was very painful. And we reviewed Spider-Man Homecoming last week. And this week, we review Spider-Man Far From Home from the safety of our homes.
Yeah, the safety. It's very, very convenient.
Yes. And so now, in this final episode of this 8-part series, what better way to end it off?
I would say the best Spider-Man movie in the MCU currently until next week, until this Thursday, probably.
True. But let's talk about Spider-Man Far From Home. So we've seen this movie both before. We've seen all these movies before. Right. Going into this, I mean, you knew you were going to like it. Did you have any thoughts extra thoughts?
I remember when I first saw this in the theater, I really loved it. We were talking before here. This was actually in probably my top three Spider-Man movies at the time. Mm-hmm. I don't believe Spider-Verse was out yet. Spider-Verse wasn't out yet. Yeah, so I was excited. Yeah, and then I rewatched it, and it's gone down from being in my top three, but I still really like it. It's my favorite out of the two currently.
Yeah.
Currently. But what about you?
I expected to go into it liking it and did, because this is my one of my top three Spider-Man movies. It goes Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man Far From Home. Number 4 is Into the Spider-Verse. Landon does not agree with me on that.
Yeah, that sounds...
Because I put the live action first, because that movie doesn't really tie in much.
Oh, so if Kevin was behind it, then
it would be great. It would be number one.
No, dude, Spider-Verse is one of the best Spider-Man movies of all time. And
Spider-Verse is better than Spider-Man 2.
No, it's not. But Spider-Verse is good. It's better than Far From Home. It's gonna be hard. Now I think about it, it's gonna be hard talking about this movie without thinking about just the thought of literally this week we're getting. So this comes out tomorrow. I'll be seeing it. So, I mean, it's hard not to think about. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But even if there is a continuation to the story that we've been witnessing in the MCU universe that we witnessed, we will not be able to view it because I am never traveling the multiverse ever again.
Yeah, I think that's pretty made clear now of all the things we've seen and experienced.
Too much.
I had an alien strapped to my head, Darian. What are we?
What's his name?
Shimo Gorath. But let's not get it right now.
That's awkward. But here we go. Spider-Man Far From Home is a 2019 American superhero film based on the Marvel Comics character Spider-Man, if you did not know that. Co-produced by Columbia Pictures and Marvel Studios and distributed by Sony Pictures Releasing. It is the sequel to Spider-Man Homecoming and the 23rd film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The film was directed by John Watts, written by Chris McKenna and Eric Sommers, and stars Tom Holland as Peter Parker / Spider-Man, alongside Samuel L. Jackson, Zendaya, Kobe Smulders, Jon Favreau, J.B. Smoove, Jacob Batalon, Martin Starr, Marissa Tomei, and Jake Gyllenhaal. In the film, Parker is recruited by Nick Fury and Mysterio to face the Elementals while he is on a school trip to Europe.
I'll be honest. I was gonna say, when I rewatched it, I actually completely forgot Nick Fury was in this movie.
How?
Or Nick Fury in quotes. I don't know how. I just did.
Well, it wasn't Nick Fury though.
I made a parody of the trailer, and I forgot.
It wasn't even Nick Fury though.
Yeah, Nick Fury in quotes. I'll be more specific.
This says discussions for a sequel to Spider-Man Homecoming began on October 2016, and the project was confirmed later that year. Holland, Watts, and the writers were all set to return by the end of 2017. In 2018, Jackson and Gyllenhaal joined the cast as Fury and Mysterio, respectively. Holland revealed the sequel's title ahead of filming, which began that July and took place in England, the Czech Republic, Italy, and the New York metropolitan area. Production wrapped in October of 2018. The marketing campaign was the most expensive for a film ever, and attempted to avoid revealing spoilers for Avengers Endgame prior to its April 2019 release.
Yeah, I remember. It's so funny because I remember that actually, because the second trailer, you couldn't watch the second trailer without watching Avengers Endgame.
Yeah,
and I think the movie was out for what, like a month at that point. Is that right?
Yeah,
that's what I want to say. Avengers Endgame was out for a month at that point. And like in the beginning, Tom's like, yeah, you know, there's major spoilers in here, so do not.
If you haven't seen Avengers Endgame, click off the trailer right now. I remember that.
Yeah, and I was all like, whoa. Oh, I mean, I already saw it at that point, but I was like, wow, there must be something pretty big in here. And literally, the first shot of the trailer is a memorial for Tony Stark. I was like, okay, wow, okay. It was crazy. Crazy.
Spider-Man Far From Home premiered at the TCL Chinese Theater on June 26, 2019, and was theatrically released in the United States on July 2nd as the last film in Phase 3 of the MCU. The film received praise for its humor and visual effects. It grossed over $1.1 billion worldwide, making it the first Spider-Man film to pass the $1 billion mark. Sony Pictures' highest-grossing film ever, the fourth highest-grossing film of 2019, and became the 24th highest-grossing film of all time. A sequel, Spider-Man No Way Home, is scheduled for release on December 17th, 2021.
I'm excited. Yeah. Remember when we were thinking about the name for No Way Home? Everybody was going crazy what the name could possibly be, and now we're just days away.
I remember the rumors were Spider-Man Home Run.
Home Run. I heard Home Run. I heard Homesick. My favorite was Homeworlds. But it's so funny because then, like, when they were, it's crazy. They had a dang trailer for the name reveal of No Way Home.
That's true.
And back to Far From Home for a minute. Who do you like better? And this is just act like No Way Home doesn't exist for a minute here. Who do you like better as the villain, Vulture or Mysterio?
Mysterio.
You like Mysterio better? I like Mysterio better as just a villain, but are you just going by villain choice or just performance wise?
Villain choice.
Okay. Well, who do you like better, Michael Keaton or Jake Gyllenhaal? Just Michael Keaton's Vulture or Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio. That's kind of what I'm asking.
Michael Keaton's Vulture.
Michael Keaton's Vulture. You like him better more than Mysterio? Okay. I have somewhat of a bias because I am a Mysterio fanboy. I like Mysterio. Mm-hmm. I hope he shows up in Marvel Spider-Man 2 as like somewhat of like a Riddler type of thing.
It'd be interesting.
I thought about that when the game wasn't out. When the first one was announced, I'm like, I want Mysterio to show up, and I want him to be kind of like the like you're not like collecting anything for him, but like you have like puzzles and stuff. Make Mysterio like a really smart guy or something, Mm-hmm. And in this movie, he pretty much is. I don't like the arc he has, though.
Mm-hmm.
No, because it's super easy to make fun of. Like, why is he a bad guy? Well, Tony Stark made fun of my technology.
Binarily augmented retro framing.
Barf. Yeah, which I'm all like, yeah. I was like, you really became a supervillain for that? I'm like, man, if you're really, pissed off about that, then like make your own company, sell it, and then rub it in his face or something. You know what I'm saying? If you were that mad about it, about it. Vulture, I understand because he like lost his job and stuff. Yeah. No, that makes more sense. But like, I thought his kind of motives was somewhat pathetic. I think so. As a Mysterio fan, I don't like it, but I'm willing to somewhat excuse it for the dang Mysterio scenes in this movie.
Man, those scenes are so good.
Like that was probably my favorite part about rewatching this movie was those scenes. I remember in a theater, I was in tears of how awesome it was. I'm like, man, why can't I better see this on like Marvel Spider-Man 2. And like with the SSD and stuff now on the PlayStation 5, like you could just form stuff quickly, So I think it'd be cool.
Yeah. This movie was really good. I want to read some reviews. Rotten Tomato reviews. It's got a 90% certified fresh Rotten Tomatoes, 95% audience score. Let's see. Let's read some reviews here. I haven't seen any. There's one bad review. You want to hear the bad or the good first?
I hear the bad first.
All right. This person says, this is a critic, Alex Bentley. He says, after the near perfect fun of Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home is a big letdown. While still completely watchable for anyone who loves these type of movies, it makes for a less than satisfying experience overall.
I agree and don't agree.
It gets too goofy for its own good.
Well, I'd say I agree in some ways, purely because it does. I think the whole thing with Ned and what's her name, Betty Brant. I think that was kind of stupid. I didn't really think that was.
I thought it was funny though.
I didn't think it was that funny.
I thought it was funny. It was just like so weird. I was like, what?
Yeah, well, it's like no point to it.
He was like, and that boy met a woman, and he became a man.
I was like,
and it's the funny part because it's just high schoolers.
Well, it's just. Well, yeah, I'm laughing now. It's just, I don't know. I didn't think it was that funny. You see, I'm saying it's not funny, but I'm laughing just purely. I just didn't think there was no use for it.
Yeah,
or it was like it could have just been like they could have just been friends or something. I don't think there was really a point to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
we're gonna have them be this couple for a minute.
I want to read some more bad reviews by critics because there's a lot of them. There's not a lot of them. There's 44 of them. But I mean, still. They said that it would be wrong to write off Far From Home as a complete and utter failure, but it's certainly the most disappointing MCU film since Iron Man 2.
What? I don't know about that now.
Tom Beasley said that.
I don't agree with that.
Dan Tabor says, you could chalk it up to Marvel fatigue, but we should call it like it is. It's just not as good as Homecoming, and a lackluster end cap to the stellar Phase 3.
No. Well, okay, I do agree. I don't like how this was the end of Phase 3.
Yeah, it should have been the start of Phase 4.
It should have been, it should have been the start of Phase 4. Endgame should have been the end of Phase 3.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? So.
Tim Brayton says the epilogue to Avengers Endgame first, and Iron Man 4 second, and a Spider-Man vehicle only when it can. What? A Spider-Man vehicle only when it cannot find a reason to be one of the other things. What?
The Spider Monkey? Is that what
he's basically saying? It's the epilogue to Avengers Endgame and also Iron Man 4, but with Spider-Man.
No, I don't see it as Iron Man.
I don't like that one. Here we go. Ruben Rosario says, the bad news is that the cast that surrounds them continue to be insufferable Gen Z cliches, and watching their slim storylines play out felt to this reviewer like nails on a chalkboard. Plus, none of these actors look like high schoolers anymore.
I wonder what his thoughts were on the first Spider-Man movie. I wonder
if he's reviewed it. I should look.
Yeah, check if he's reviewed it, because I know they didn't look like high schoolers.
I'll look. See, Ruben Rosario.
That's never bothered me. Well, they don't look the age of high schoolers. I'm like, yeah, but I'm like, what do you expect them?
He reviewed the Suicide Squad the Suicide Squad movie.
Oh, the James Gunn one?
Yes.
Wow.
He said Gunn gets in the zone, but it ends up being too little, too late.
He could. He might just hate. Okay, did he review the first Suicide Squad movie?
Probably. I don't know. He reviewed Black Widow and he gave it 1.5 out of 5.
1.5 out of 5?
He said, diehard fans will likely find Easter eggs and winking references to Marvel Comics and MCU content to pore over, but other moviegoers should be able to call this stultifying slog what it is. A terrible film and a waste of a good cast.
Dang.
I didn't even know what stultifying means.
He really does not like this movie.
Let's see what else he hated on. Sorry for this guy, by the way. I'm not hating. Well, I am sort of hating on your opinion, but he rated Zack Snyder's Justice League a good review.
No, that's bull. I
don't think he's reviewed Spider-Man.
I need to go back and look at our review of Zack Snyder's Justice League. I really do not like that movie. I rewatched it not too long ago. I did not like it.
All right.
But this is Far From Home we're talking about today.
Mm-hmm. You continue talking about your thing while I'm looking at this.
Yeah, see if he did review the first Spider-Man movie. I actually didn't want to see it. I don't know. The thought of that's like never bothered me. I mean, purely because I don't think it's that big of a, what do I call it? Big of a deal. Because I mean, obviously they're not going to hire people. I mean, it's more noticeable if they are way older, but it doesn't take me out of the thing in any way.
Yeah, he rated Cats a 3 out of 4.
And Black Widow, what? This guy's
he rated Joker bad.
No, yeah. Well, we're not gonna take this guy's opinion seriously.
He said Heath Ledger's maniacal agent of destruction would have kicked this sorry loser off Gotham's tallest building.
Well, Heath Ledger sucks.
You know, he voted that movie, The Lighthouse. He gave it that movie, The Lighthouse, with Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
He gave it a 2.5 out of 4.
And Cats is hot. What is this? That movie's a masterpiece. I love. You seen that movie?
I have not, but I know it's good.
Like, you need to watch it. It's awesome.
There's his Spider-Man Far From Home review. Dark Phoenix, he gave a 2 out of 4.
That's well deserved. How is
but it's better than Black Widow.
Cat 3. I can't get over that.
What do you mean? Wait. Okay. He voted a bad review on Avengers Endgame. We're going to talk about this. The pieces may all fit together like a mammoth jigsaw puzzle, but what's sorely lacking is spontaneity. That final chapter frisson of anything goes tension. What? No. False.
No, I don't know what to say to that. Yeah, I can always get behind people saying Infinity War was better than Endgame. I can get behind that. Don't get me wrong. But
he rated Captain Marvel good.
Did he really?
He said you want me to read it?
Yeah.
He said, you know it's going to be a topsy-turvy movie year when this Marvel Cinematic Universe detractor is forced to admit he enjoyed an MCU cash cow, but it's such is the unlikely outcome from catching up with this sneakily absorbing origin story. That sounds like a bad review, but it's not.
So what did he give it?
It doesn't say, but he rated it fresh.
It's not. It's rotten. I do not like Marvel.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, he gave a good review.
Okay.
It's going to take me a long time to get through all this guy's stuff. I'm pretty sure I won't be able to find.
Well, anyway, I mean, there's no reason. I was just really wondering because I wonder if he did review it. He noted that out of it. And like that, it's more noticeable in Spider-Man than Far From Home. So,
but anyway, off of this huge turn that we took talking about how they didn't look like high schoolers, and let's talk about some more stuff with this movie. We talked about the Mysterio scenes and how good they were. And let's see. Let's talk about the big plot twists at the end of the movie. Because I'm going to tell you.
Do you want to go with the big one that sets up the next film, or do you want to do
we'll do the big one first?
Mysterio is kind of like still around in some way.
Okay, yeah, we'll do the smaller, the second after credit scene. We'll talk about that. You remember that with Nick Fury and Hill?
Okay.
So you find out that Nick Fury and Maria Hill were actually Talos and
Fastos.
No.
The one time I get Eternal's name right.
Talos and what was his wife's name? Someone wants to tell me I want to say Somer or something like that. I don't remember. I don't think we ever really get her name. I'm looking. No, I don't know. It's going to bother me when I don't find it out. Let's see. You talk about your thoughts on the after credit scene while I'm looking.
The after credit scene. I was surprised. I mean, I didn't really. I get well.
Okay, it's Soren. That's her name.
Soren. Okay. Well, I was surprised. I mean, that's honestly all I can say.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I forget the second or the first one or whatever is the one that sets up No Way Home. Okay. So I forgot. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. I remember. So I was surprised. And you see Nick Fury on the dang in space.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if he's kind of creating a shield up there. I don't know. I'm not too sure.
Yeah. That I'm going to go ahead and see. Well, we saw WandaVision, kind of connected to that a little bit. Skrull came up to Monica and was like, "A friend wants to talk with you," and she was like, "Where?" And she pointed up in space, and in my mind, I was like, "The catwalk," but no,
the what?
The catwalk.
Catwalk.
Who's up there?
No, well, you think? You think? Yeah, it's Captain Marvel.
That's a possibility, but my Peter tingle is telling me that it's Nick Fury.
Well, that's wrong. That's false. I don't know. Well, I mean, again, I can't just deny your thing, but I think it's mostly Captain Marvel, considering she had that connection with Monica's mom.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only reason why I'm saying that. But I mean, you could be right. It could be Nick Fury. Nick Fury had that thing with Captain Marvel. So
true. By the way, I want to give a shout out. JB Smoove as Mr. Dell is like one of my favorite parts of this whole movie.
Which is
the substitute chaperone that was there with them. When I always talk about witches.
Yeah. Which, WandaVision takes place right before Far From Home.
That's true. But I just wanted to give him a little shout out. Like, he's supposed to be coming back for No Way Home. And
he confirmed Tobey Maguire's in the movie, so I'm excited.
And I mean, oh man, he was just hilarious. There's a scene where Brad gets embarrassed for taking a picture of Peter at the bathroom or something like that. And he goes up to him, he was like, "Hey, can't be doing that. See, you gotta stop. No taking pictures of people in the bathroom." He was like, "Urinal or stall."
I like him. I'm excited to see him in the next movie. I wonder what he's gonna do. And I guess he ain't gonna do nothing. But
no.
Is it Hannibal gonna be in this one?
Yeah.
Okay, I know he wasn't in the last one. I'm pretty sure he's in this one, so I'm excited to see him.
And and also the line that Mr. Dell said, or he was like, everyone was like, "What is that?" He was like, given I'm a man of science. Witches.
I like the one teacher they got along as well. But if you had to bring out like the biggest negative in this movie, what would it be?
That it really didn't. Well, I get it's in the MCU, so it's got to have the connections and stuff. But to me, it felt like an MCU movie and not a Spider-Man movie.
I thought that's what you wanted. Kevin's hands all over it. What are you talking
I still
about?
want a Spider-Man. Spider-Man Homecoming was a Spider-Man movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like an actual Spider-Man. So this is more like, oh, I'm dealing with the death of a father figure in my life, and
even though he should be focused on the other father figure, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever. I'll get that here in a minute.
And he's it's just all about like, oh, it's like they said Mysterio looked like Thor and Iron Man rolled into one or something like that. And
Captain Marvel. Yeah, I love the part where he like names off a bunch of them. I'm like, oh, okay, there's this touting there in MCU.
Yeah. And I think it would have been better. I mean, I don't know. I also, and this might make somebody a little mad. Mysterio, as much as I liked him in this movie, and as much as I liked all the scenes and stuff, I did not like how he was using Stark tech to make his illusions.
No, he was using his own tech.
Well, he was using. Well, yeah, but they were like Stark drones.
Oh, that, yeah. Okay, yeah, that I don't like. Okay, that's what
like I think that this is, and there's also two things actually with the villain in this movie. That the villains of this MCU Spider-Man movies rely too much on Tony Stark, which I'm happy with No Way Home. That's not a thing anymore.
Well, watch till we find out that I swear if that ends up happening in some way, shape, or form, Tony Stark made fun of Doc Ock or something, I'm gonna cry. I'll be like, oh,
well, we know that Jamie Foxx's Electro has an arc reactor. But I think that's just to channel the electricity so he's not blue.
Yeah, I keep hearing they're all going to get upgrades and stuff. Doc Ock, I think his arms are sucking up the nanotech.
I wonder what Goblin would get. What would he do?
Arc reactor. I don't know.
New glider.
But I mean, Lizard. Nothing there.
Ain't no one give nothing.
He ain't gonna have Jack. Sandman, probably not. I if it's just those two, I'll be okay. I'm okay. Hey, I mean, I'm willing to accept Electro having an arc reactor just so we can't see him as blue. I'll be okay with it.
Mm-hmm. Let me get back with the I was saying though, I don't like how the Spider-Man villains in the MCU rely on Stark like things. They're like, oh, Tony Stark did this to me, and I want to go after Spider-Man because he knows Tony Stark or something like that. I don't like that. I also, this movie falls, as it being an MCU movie, falls into the, I don't know what to call it, maybe like the MCU villain curse, maybe. With, they kill their villains at the end of the movie, and not like big good villains, like the Mandarin, for example, in Shang-Chi. Yeah, the Mandarin, for example, in Shang-Chi, Mysterio in this. They didn't kill Vulture in the last one, which was great.
Yeah,
but I would much rather have them killed Vulture and keep Mysterio alive.
Yeah, I would have liked that because I think Mysterio could have had a really cool thing going on.
Yeah.
But I mean, so I think in some way, here's the thing. I would say for certain, I would say almost, we don't fully know if he is dead.
I know. True. It just depends on how you interpret his last line.
It depends. Okay. Either there's three ways this could go about because we see the dang one of his goons keep the thing, or like take like the flash drive that holds like the technology or whatever. So three things that this can go about. Quentin Beck is still alive, and so Mysterio is still alive. You know, or Mysterio is still alive, and technology is.
Yeah.
Or Mysterio, Quentin Beck is dead. But the thought of Mysterio is still alive through them having that flash drive.
That's probably the more.
That's probably more likely.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you know, Quentin Beck's always for, again, illusions. So, you know, it could be a possibility still alive. But if he is dead, I can see his goons kind of keeping the name alive of Mysterio and still doing illusions around places, you know?
Yeah.
Either that or it's just, there's not really much to think about it. But I think they wanted us to look at that particular guy taking the flash drive for a reason. Mm-hmm. So it is most likely the second option. So I think that's just a better bet. If you're going to bet on it, I'd say that's better. That's the better way to go.
Yeah.
I don't like it because I like Quentin Beck to be alive, but can't have everything. I guess.
Yeah. Well, let's get on that first after credit scene to end this review off. Peter Parker, middle of New York, news report coming on, and it's talking about how Quentin Beck. There was a incriminating video showing Spider-Man, what was it? He was saying it was a fake video.
It was a fake video.
Yeah, and he showed Spider-Man saying, "Oh, execute them all," or whatever. We knew that when it was like, "You want to execute all the commands of like destroying the things," and he was like, "Yes, execute them all." But we only heard that part. And then it cuts over, and J.K. Simmons shows up on the screen with the dailybugle.net. I remember having not seen the Spider-Man movies in a long time. I didn't get it. I wasn't as surprised by that when I first watched that movie in theaters. It's mainly because this was before I was a huge fan of these movies. So I was just kind of watching it because it was Spider-Man. And seeing him, I was kind of like, oh, that's that guy from the old movies. But I wasn't as like...
It's the guy from the old movies.
I wasn't as hyped about it. And but he goes, that's not the real kicker, folks. This one. Brace yourselves. And then it shows the video of Mysterio, and he goes, Spider-Man's...
Hold on. Oh, can we just... For one, I didn't know J.K. Simmons was in this movie. Hold on. I just want to break that down real quick, because I don't know about you, but when I saw it in the theater, I lost my mind.
Well, I told you, I said that I didn't really have a reaction. I was just like, oh, it's the guy from the old movie.
A reaction?
It was because I wasn't really a big fan of the Spider-Man movies.
You're a terrible person. Literally, God would stand in front of you and you wouldn't have a reaction. That's basically the same thing. You're saying the same thing right there.
Well, I knew about J. Jonah Jameson. I was like, oh, it's J. Jonah Jameson. I do remember doing that, but I didn't have a reaction to it being J.K. Simmons other than saying, oh, it's the guy from the old movie. I guess maybe because I only knew him as J.K. Simmons. I mean, him as J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah.
So I already knew. I was like, okay, J. Jonah Jameson.
I lost my mind. I lost it. So I'm very disappointed that you did not get the same reaction I did.
I mean, well, sorry.
Thank you. There we go. Now I'll continue. Sorry.
But anyway, we see the video and Mysterio goes, Spider-Man, and then it cuts out and he goes, Spider-Man's real name is, and then cuts out again and he goes, Spider-Man's name is Peter Parker. And then,
what the?
Yeah, then, I remember when that happened. I was
Oh, so now you have a reaction?
No,
okay.
That was crazy. Nothing like that has ever been done in a Spider-Man movie before.
Yeah, good. Yeah, you're right. You're right about that.
This is a whole new direction that they're going now, and I remember losing it at that point. That was when I lost it.
Oh, that's
when he was like, Spider-Man's real name is Peter Parker, and it zooms in at Spider-Man, and he goes, what? And then it just ends. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that is the biggest cliffhanger.
I know. This is almost, I'd say, some of a in-game kind of part 1, part 2 type of thing. I mean, I would say, heck, a 3-parter with Doctor Strange.
True.
So, so we'll find out there.
Absolutely crazy. But... Mm-hmm. That's all I got to say about this wonderful movie.
Again, it's hard not to talk about this without No Way Home coming out this Thursday. And by the way, I don't know. Yeah. You saw, I sent you, the reporters are saying it this Monday. So,
yeah. We will not be, however, we are never traveling the multiverse again.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, no more.
Yeah.
No more.
Trying to think anything. Let's talk about since we're towards this, let's do a rating and then we'll give a summary of the series as a whole.
Okay.
So what would you rate Spider-Man Far From Home?
I give a either an 8 or 7.5.
Interesting.
I don't know, because I do like this movie, so I don't really know what to give it. It's not my top three. I'd say it might be number 4. So I know people hate this movie. I know some people, they really hate this movie purely because of the whole Uncle Ben thing, and I agree. I have my issues with that as well. Because look, he loses the bag, and it means I'm like, oh well, we can get another one. I'm like, it was your ex-husband's bag. You are a terrible person.
That's true.
But thanks, Aunt May. You're a terrible wife. Hey, that's mean, but I don't care.
Very rude, Landon.
I don't care. Marissa Tomei, she disrespecting Cliff Robertson like that. I don't care. I could care less. Yes, I'm just mad. And I just want the Uncle Ben respect, and hopefully No Way Home is going to be kind of like the last straw for me. If they don't do it, then I'm not expecting them to do it. So, anyways, I give this probably a 7.5. 7.5.
I'm giving it an 8.
An 8?
Yeah.
Well, now I feel like I give it an 8. I don't think we've given an 8. I don't think I've given an 8. Okay, I'll give it an 8 purely because I have not given an 8 on here. So we'll give it an 8.
All right. Well, let's talk about this series here. We started 8 weeks ago in hopes to watch every Spider-Man movie and review them leading up until Spider-Man No Way Home. You guys are seeing this episode 2 days before the movie comes out. And I mean, great planning on my part. I'm just saying.
Yes, congratulations, Mr. Wizard.
But yeah, what do you think of, well, like the high points, low points, and average areas of the Spider-Man films we've had to date?
I had to say
good ones and bad ones.
Well, watching Amazing Spider-Man 1 was rough to go back to, if I'm going to be honest.
Agreed.
I loved falling back in love with the Raimi movies a lot. Mm-hmm. I loved seeing. I mean, every Spider-Man on here was pretty good. I don't think there really is a. I mean, who's your definitive Spider-Man out of all of this?
Oh, you had to ask me.
I think that's kind of a good question to ask, considering
it's definitely not Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, I hate it because I love Andrew. I love Andrew Garfield.
He's too cool.
He's a great. He's not too cool.
He acts too cool. He acts too like too weird. It's weird.
I like Andrew Garfield though. He's probably the best actor out of all three of them, if you ask me.
Well, I can agree with that. I agree with that. See, it's between Tom and Toby for me. Toby has that nostalgic thing, and he is like, when I think of Spider-Man, he's one of the first ones that come to my mind. Then Tom Holland, like immediately after.
Yeah.
But Tom Holland, as much as some people don't want to say it, and we have to face it, he is like what Spider-Man would be like if he were real. I mean, like that was more like Tom Holland's Spider-Man is like realistic Spider-Man.
What?
It is. Toby, no one would react that way to being Spider-Man.
And what?
It's difficult for me to say, but it's just like the way I feel. And I just can't like explain it.
Well, I'm wondering what way was that for it to be unrealistic for you?
I don't know. It's just like, it doesn't seem like he handled it as like, well, he got used to it too fast, maybe. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I can take that back. I'll take that back. I don't necessarily know how to word this.
You better come up somewhere. I'm gonna smack you.
I don't have right through the screen. I don't have any words. But Tom Holland is the more. I think. Okay, listen to this. Tom Holland's the better Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire's the better Peter Parker.
No, don't give that bull answer because I've always said who's the best. Tom's good at both, but Andrew's good Spider-Man. Toby's good Peter. I'm like, no, Toby is fantastic as Spider-Man.
Toby, okay, I'll give you that. Toby is very good as Spider-Man, but if I was saying who is the most like Spider-Man in my opinion, Tom Holland he does it great. He's young enough. He has the better outfits, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'll give. Okay, I know I just gave Bull that one thing, but if I were to just say something between the two, I would say Tobey Maguire is the best if an adult was Spider-Man, and Tom's the best if a teenager was Spider-Man. I know,
and that's the way he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be a teenager.
Well, no, Spider-Man can be any age.
Yeah, but he's mostly a teenager. He's a kid.
Yeah, I know he's usually younger, but like, I don't know. I always like the young adult Spider-Man better. Or midlife crisis Spider-Man, like Peter B. Parker in the Spider-Verse.
True. But yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
So, Tobey Maguire is the best Spider-Man. We come to that conclusion?
Sure. Yes.
Thank you.
We come to the conclusion.
Thank you.
But
if you are Tom and Andrew fans,
apologies.
We do. Well, no, I was gonna say we support your.
We don't support the Andrew fans, but we support the Tom Holland fans.
Well, I support Andrew as Spider-Man.
He supports Andrew.
I just don't like the movies.
Now, I don't like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, but if Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man shows up in No Way Home, I'm gonna like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man.
Yeah, I would like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man.
If Kevin Feige makes an appearance in Spider-Man No Way Home,
I think if Kevin Feige, I'll be honest with you there. I think if Kevin Feige made an appearance on here, on No Way Home, you would be happy.
I mean, okay, I really feel like Kevin Feige would make the good, like not next Stan Lee, but like start doing some cameos in his movies. Always wearing a baseball cap with something different.
Always like that. Yo, it would be cool if. Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna say I always like the idea of Deadpool to start doing the cameos. It makes like a comment about it or something.
Yeah.
I was gonna make the argument of I like the idea. Actually, would be a cool idea. And you get and he wears a hat, but it's like but it's like a kind of a teaser of what the next movie is, or like or a project in the works.
Mm-hmm.
Or something. Like, let's say hypothetically, it was like let's say Spider-Man was ever in MCU and he made like a cameo or whatever.
Yep.
And he was going to hint at they're working on a Spider-Man movie. He'll have like a web or something, or like the color right on his hat, and then have the villain say "Be Mysterio." It's like a fishbowl or something.
Yeah, that'd be
something like, or like a snake or something. I don't know. It's just an idea. I think that'd be kind of cool if that, but I don't know how secretive they are about that stuff. So I don't know if that will ever happen.
Well, guess we got to get ready to end this off.
Mm-hmm.
We have traveled the multiverse, viewing these stories for you guys, for your entertainment. We were put in peril many times. And quite frankly, I'm glad to be out of it.
Yeah, very much so.
So, with that being said, you have any closing statements?
Spider-Man is pretty cool. That's all.
Spider-Man is pretty cool. Oh, apologies. I'm having some technical issues here. Is something happening on your end?
Wait, what? Oh crap! I think it is.
Something's happening.
Hello? Oh crap. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we've broken the multiverse.